Hi, this is John, and this is week 145 of Dot Dreams Devlog. So, we're going to talk about politics this week. And before you hit the like and dislike button, please follow us if this intrigues you. But, over 10 years now, I think we have some authority to talk about it. I wouldn't say authority, we have some experience we can share. But for those who are very, very bright and have heard us talk about similar things, after the past 2 years, I think things have changed and my stance on it kind of changed as well. So that's what we're talking about again. And for those who are very interested in the Brave Eduardo progress, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll be able to see everything I've done during the last weekdays, and I made it very consistent thing where I will post something every single day. But anyways, going back to it, this week I'm going to talk about politics again because I have gotten to a point where I'm actually somewhat ambivalent in my directions about it, because if you say yes and then games should include politics, then it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, because I don't know how many people will agree that you can have a homophobic protagonist, or you have bad guys of World War II. I think in general, even in movies, there's a clause where you can't have the bad guys win. Well, in general, in some sense, there's this moral value that you have to maintain when you're spreading ideas to the general public. So it's very hard to say, yes, you should include any sort of politics in your game. But if you say no, then it's also kind of weird, because you can't have no politics in the game, because for one, how do you even determine what is political and what isn't? And also, who said, this is my original sense, but a lot of art is supposed to be edgy. It's supposed to push buttons and make people feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like the thing of makes you think about certain things that you don't usually think about, because we're in a somewhat insulated area, and politically or generally in life, you will be surrounded by people who share your value, and when you interact with art and video game to a certain degree, you're supposed to open yourself to more ideas. And for those in the United States, you'll obviously know that right now in America, we're very, very not open to new ideas. And it's on either side. If you're on the right side, you're like, left sides are all idiots. If you're on the left side, you think all the right sides are idiots. So there's almost zero dialogue. And let's say you're saying, oh, John, what you're saying is logical fallacy. You're going extremes on both ends. It's also very hard to get a standardized definition of what is political and what's acceptably politically, because best example is how in Japan they have a completely different understanding of what art is, and a lot of their things are beautiful and very, very lewdly provocative, whereas in America, especially the past few years, we've been becoming more safer and safer. So even culturally, we have very different definitions of what's acceptable politically in your life, whereas so even culturally we have very different understandings. And when you make a video game, you're supposed to generally hit every single region of the world. For example, in the Middle East, people have very different definitions of what a female can do or not. And when you're making a video game, are you going to include those as well? Should we be talking or chastising that kind of ideologies? So it's kind of interesting how I think in general right now, when you make a video game, you either steer clear of it or you hammer it down. And it's just kind of like, ooh, should we be caring that much when you're making a video game? And who is going to be the arbiter that checks whether or not your thing works? And see, that's why I think my stance is different now, because now I'm just, at this point, I'm completely confused. You can make certain things, and, certain big country in the Asia area won't even allow you because your things have something that attacks their general ideologies. In totalitarian regimes, you can't even, there's certain things that are banned, whereas in some places they're okay. So what is video game, or if you broadly say, what is art? And let me know in the comments down below, because I think I'm more confused than I am ever right now, especially now that Buado is launching soon and Brave Eduardo is on the schedule to be released. I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I feel actually less secure to release what I have to do. And by the way, since you guys haven't really heard us talk about things that we have done, and maybe this is refreshing for you guys too. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about politics and video game, and I'll talk to you guys next week on Dreams Devlog.
It's not often that someone comes along who is a true fan and listens to the end. You are both. You shall find us here